Occasionally I get asked, how and why I dress retro or vintage, and how I got into it. I think the short answer, um, on how I got into like everything retro and vintage is my parents. When I was a kid, my parents always talked to me about like their childhood and like the technology in their childhood. We also, they would show on Nick at Night a ton of reruns of shows from like the 50s, 60s, and 70s and 80s. And as a small child, I would watch all those TV shows every night on Nick at Night. And they had like all these fun shows that I still binge watch to this day. So they had like the Brady Bunch, Bewitched, I Love Lucy, The Facts of Life, which I really love. I really love all those shows. I don't think I have a favorite. So I really just got into all these like vintage shows, and I loved the way that they dressed. And then music wise, and back before I get to music, I love the way I always love Samantha's dresses on Bewitched. Like, I wish I had like her entire wardrobe because they are so darn cute. And yeah, so I just wanted to say that and put that out there. But yeah, no, I binge watch all those old TV shows all the time, and they're my favorite. I also really love That Girl. That Girl is a great show. And I want her entire wardrobe as well, because who wouldn't? I mean, they're so cute. And she is that girl. Music wise, yeah, my parents always listened around the house and in the car. It surrounded me. As a kid, all those, old school music tunes, from the 60s to like the 80s. So I grew up listening to all that music. And, when you're exposed to that as a small child, you grow up on it, and it just becomes, your favorite type of music. So, my parents were big like Led Zeppelin fans, Doors fans. I really love the Doors. I'm also a huge Depeche Mode fan. And it just, yeah, all those cool bands and cool music. I, joke with my parents. I say, yeah, you guys may be old, but at least you got to see all the cool bands live, because it's true. So yeah, they, raised me on all of those, classic rock and old school music and bands of, every genre really that was around back in the day. They're pop and metal and rock, like regular rock, all those, bands and singers and such. I was pretty much, raised on. And my parents would also get, like, back in the day when we had CDs, they would always get CDs of like music from their time, and it would always be, like Madonna or I can't think right now, the Doors. I love the Doors, by the way. Jim Morrison was my first celebrity crush. So it just almost felt like, that I was growing up in that time period because of my parents, even though obviously I wasn't alive in those time periods. So I think when you're exposed to something really young, yeah, it becomes you. And I just always felt that I really was born in the wrong time period a lot of times. And I will admit I do appreciate the technology of today. But my fashion, my look, my makeup is very, very vintage and very retro. So, and I aspire to look at least somewhat retro every day. It's my thing. I also really love old movies. I love old movies, like the black and white movies. Oh, I'm sorry, Buffy. Buffy is kind of, oh, hello. You want to say hello to everybody? She wants me to pick her up, which is insane because she started getting antsy in my lap. And so I was like, okay, maybe she wants to get down and play with her toy. Now she wants to be picked up. Girl, I cannot keep up with you. I can't keep up with you, Buffy. But she knows she gets whatever she wants because she's so darn cute. But if you looked at my playlist, you would think it's a playlist of like a 70-year-old because all of the music on there is from like 50 years ago. So, yeah, you can say I am kind of an old soul in a lot of ways. Definitely a vintage soul. And it makes me happy that there is an entire vintage community out there because we can all just get together and be vintage together and dress up in fun vintage things that we find. So, I like inhaled too much air just now. But it's who I am. I am a retro woman, and it's how I live my life. I love to, listen to the music, the style, watch TV shows and movies from old time eras. And yeah, so it's a lot of fun. And I think I'll be that way for the rest of my life. I think my dog is getting a little restless. What you doing, honey? She's in my lap right now. I think she wants attention.